heavy hitters today.
Oh,
in this
that's why
first
we
half
like it.
hour,
That's
isn't
why
it?
we
Yeah.
like it.
All big caps. And stock of the day is a big cap as well. Transurban, the big infrastructure group, will terminate the $6 billion Maryland Express Lanes project after Accelerate Maryland partners elected not to proceed with the North American development. AM partners comprised of Transurban, Maqro Capital, was selected in February 2021 as the developers to advance pre-development work of phase 1 of the project, 60 k's of new express lanes and a new American Legion bridge in the greater Washington area. Transurban, of course, a big toll road operator, not just here in Australia, but the US. Market seemed to like that announcement, Dawes.
Yeah. Well, less capex,
Yep.
I guess, so that's beneficial for, I guess, what the market's thinking. I think Transurban definitely needs to expand into other areas. They've pretty much got Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane all sewn up.
Yep.
And they do a fantastic job of basically when the government builds these things, they come in and swoop in and take it for cents in the dollar and then make it run for the 99-year lease or whatever. So I'm really comfortable with Transurban. Obviously, the debt profile gets a lot of people concerned. And yes, you need to be careful of that debt profile because that debt does play a big part in Transurban's overall business. But they've got that debt rolling over. If you look at, there's a bar chart that they produce in their quarterlies that shows when the debt starts to mature, and it's really running out for another 10 to 15 years. So it's not one hit, everything gets rolled over. These guys are rolling these on a regular basis and potentially rolling them from a very higher interest rate than where we are at the moment to a lower interest rate over the last 10 years. So that's going to be a real positive for Transurban as well. Just looking at the chart, it does look a little bit toppy up here, and you can see that it sort of always comes up to that $14 level, $14.50, and then comes back. So I'd be cautious up here. I wouldn't be putting any fresh money. $12.50 would be the buy level for me. If you look at it, it does trade in a really nice range of sort of $12.50
So would you
to
take
$14.
profits?
I'm a holder of Transurban.
Right.
I think it's a fantastic business. Toll roads, they can increase their prices within CPI every year with the government, but then also they're allowed to increase it again outside of CPI. So we want to have a business that can raise prices, especially with higher inflation, and Transurban definitely sits in there with this one. So it's a core portfolio holding for me. It's defensive utilities. I like it, but at $12.50 would be my buying price.
Okay, but hold if you're already in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No need to take profits.
No need to take profits.
Yeah, look, Transurban is good by us. I mean, we're fairly defensive at the moment. So, anything infrastructure, anything that's going to maintain its margin to inflation is way at the top of our list. For new money, I would probably agree. It's kind of at the top of the PE range. PE is a bit misleading on this one because obviously the forward capex, I think the PE
it is
halves.
weird accounting.
It is,
isn't it?
yeah. But
they revalue everything and then can pay dividends out of debt. And
but once it's built, that's it.
I don't get that sort of stuff.
Yeah, once it's built, that's it. So like PE halves next year, for instance. So and we'll progressively keep doing that. As the capex is done. It would be nice to see them do other projects. However, now they're cashed up, they can. And obviously as well with probably input costs across the board rising, it's probably not a bad one to get let off. Something that was, you probably put a bid in 2021 with 10% inflation over the last year or at stages over the last year. So I'd definitely be a holder of this one and I'd be adding to it lower, that's for sure.
Right, but not at these levels. Around $12.50? Like
I'll agree with Adam. I don't watch this one super closely because it doesn't tend to move around a lot, but it's certainly something that we're looking to increase our weightings to because we're pretty bearish the market.
And also, is it too big for a super fund to buy? Because super funds have been out trying to get these infrastructure type stocks for a while.
So what have we got left?
Sydney Airport.
We've got APA, we've got Transurban. Like we don't really have much other real good blue chip infrastructure. So no, I think any pension fund could definitely look at something like this. I don't think it's too big.
And the government's been pushing the pension funds to go and pick up stuff like this, basically. So
we're running out of good infrastructure.
Yeah,
we really are running out, and I think Transurban's definitely one of those ones that I like.